Hello, people of the world. You're probably watching this on the tube, on YouTube. Uh, the channel you're most likely seeing it from is also what I have used for distance learning in this coronavirus era for my teaching job. So if you do have younger kids at home or anybody who just wants to get creative, feel free to check out some of the other videos I have on here. They are geared towards kindergarten through fifth graders. But my name is Maddie McDougall, or anyone tuning in who does know me from school knows me as Miss M. You can call me Maddie, Miss M, anything's fine. This is our week 1 tutorial video for our printmaking class. I'm just going to talk real quick about some of the basics of printmaking, and it would be a great idea for you to watch this before our live class on Friday so that you know kind of what we're getting into. We are here in my studio at the Indian Orchard Mills. It is a mess because of who I am as a person. There's not much I can do about that. Okay, so I have shared online the supply lists. Okay, if you don't get everything together, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm pretty chill. Like it's not. I'm perhaps not the stereotypical printmaker, where a lot of printmaking for many other artists is about being precise and being exact and making everything nice and neat. And that's not the way I roll, because that's not what is important to me about it. What is important to me about it in the art is the meaning and the process of that. And so I'm not one to be really into having nice clean edges or things like that. But if you are, cool, go for it. Okay, so um, this week you're going to need um, a piece of styrofoam-ish something. This is like, this is big, but they sell this at the dollar store. It's like the poster board that's foamy on the inside. This will work great. Okay, this is cool. Or a styrofoam plate. You got Chinese takeout the other night. Uh, Wash out the styrofoam container and rip off half of it, and you've got styrofoam there. You're gonna want something styrofoam to carve into this week, because this week we are doing relief printing. I don't know if this is going to show up backwards. Anyway, okay. So real quick, just basics of printmaking. You are always going to need paper. You are always going to need a flat surface where you're pressing things down onto. I said paper, flat surface. You're going to need some form of ink or paint, something that's going to leave that impression. And manos, you need your hands. Okay. If you don't get a fancy print brayer, it doesn't matter. It's okay. You are able to apply your ink with a paintbrush, or if you even want to get creative, use something like a toothbrush, a popsicle stick. It's okay. Get creative. Okay. When we're all online on Zoom on Friday, we are going to talk about creating your own printing plate. Okay, I have this old one that has white paint ink on top of it, so it's hard to see all those designs in there right now. But we're going to be able to create your own printing plate on Friday. Today you're going to watch me use this one so you have an idea of what's going on before we do it together on Friday. Okay, so that is one piece of printmaking vocabulary you're going to hear a lot through this 3-week course. So the plate is where your image is coming from originally. Okay, your plate is going to have your design, your drawing on it. This is kind of like an abstract thing with swirls and some moon shapes. I don't know. It says January 13th, 2019 is when I made this, apparently. Okay, so by the time we're together on Friday, we're going to do these together. So don't worry about how did she make that, okay? Don't worry. You are going to want some ink, okay, or paint. I'm going to do this first sample with block printing ink. This is, put the cap on before I pull it over my computer. This is Sax TrueFlow block printing ink. It's like a school grade, relatively cheap printing ink. Okay, so if you want to put it right on your table, go for it. If you want to put it on a plastic plate, paper plate, some sort of palette for you, go for it, okay? I am going to use what's called gel medium to help the block printing ink get a little looser, okay? You can buy gel medium at Michael's or Walmart or craft store or whatever. You don't have to. You can use water to loosen it up a little bit, or you don't need to loosen it up at all. It's just going to be a little bit harder to apply. That's up to you. So you can see here amongst my mess, I put the medium right next to the ink, okay? And what you're going to want next is, I'm going to use this little piece of cardboard, but you can also use, like if you have an old gift card or like a credit card type shaped thickness thing that you don't want or need anymore, you can use that, or you can use cardboard, okay? And what I'm doing here is mixing this back and forth, okay? So that the medium and the ink are mixed up together. Next, remember I have my plate. We're making this together on Friday, okay? And if I were in a classroom right now, I would say, what's this called? And all the kids would yell, it's a printing plate. I miss my kids. Okay. So I'm gonna do half of this with the brayer. So you see how that works? And then I'll do another half with the paintbrush, okay? So just as if you were painting your house, painting a wall, you're gonna stick your brayer in there, and you go back and forth until you hear a kind of like, it's kind of gross to describe it, it's like a noise when the ink is all set on your brayer, okay? So I know I have my brayer is totally covered with ink, and I'm gonna go right across my plate, okay? Up and down. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, and now this is what makes the relief print a relief print, okay? Relief print means that the ink is being held onto the parts of the plate that are like rising up, okay? The part that's sticking up. Similar to like a rubber stamp. I thought about like making rubber stamps with you guys, but I thought this could be more fun maybe, okay? So I took out this popsicle stick just to show you that this plate, this is like the poster board that I carved into, or your styrofoam that you're going to etch into. We'll do that on Friday, but see how this has like some depth in it, like the popsicle stick is sitting inside the spaces that I carved. The ink is on top. This ink does dry though pretty quickly. So what you're gonna do next, you're gonna put your plate flat on your table. Okay. I promise next week I'm gonna set up a camera closer to the table. Okay. Paper, this is an old paper I had an old painting on. You don't need fancy paper for any of this, okay? Old copy paper, paper packaging. See, I literally have cartridge all over the place. Okay, old paper packaging. Get creative with how you can recycle materials here, okay? So our plate is inked. We rolled the ink on top of it. We put it down on the table. And next, our paper goes right on top here. Okay. And you do not need the wooden spoon or like tile grout thing I put in the supply list, but because you can use your hands. Okay. So I'm rubbing my hands on top of here. It helps sometimes to stand up to put pressure down on it too. But if you want to be fancy, this is from the hardware store. Shout out Rocky's Hardware. Okay, so this is great for applying pressure all across your plate. Okay, and now is the grand reveal. Okay, see, I was talking too much. I was talking too much, and so the ink dried. Okay, that happens a lot when I'm doing demos. So the ink dried so quickly. and I didn't get it down on the paper in time, so that's why not too much showed up. Let's do one more, and then I'll show it to you with the paintbrush, okay? So we have our plate, back and forth with our ink all over, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Ink is all over. Ink is on here. Plate is on the table. And now I'm going to be careful to make sure that I'm not putting this new print on top of that. I'm going to put it to the side. I'm going to press with my, what is it called? Tile grout float. Now, I just saw it in the hardware store and I thought it was a perfect printmaking alternative, okay? If you do want to be fancy, Speedball sells a lot of printmaking supplies. They also have this thing, it's called a Baron. It is the same exact thing. You can do that with a wooden spoon or your hands, okay? Let's lift it up. There we go, that's better, okay? So, I missed some of the ink on the sides there, but that's okay. So we can do that same exact thing. If you did not get a roller, not a roller. I call it a roller sometimes because that's what the kids end up calling it. So kiddos who may be watching this video, it's not a roller. You're giving Miss M bad habits. It is called a brayer, okay? Roll, so I mean, whatever. Okay, so you have your ink. And this, the gel medium I talked about before that helps loosen up the ink. That stuff is really great too because it prevents your ink or your paint, you can use it on either, from drying too fast, okay? So you can see I'm spreading it all over, and the ink is staying to the parts of the plate that are lifted up because we are doing relief printing this week, okay? Let's try one more time. Hopefully I won't talk too much and ink will dry. So our plate is on the table. Our paper is here. I'm gonna press it down. Lift it up. And there we go. See, I like this one better. There we go. Very cool, very fun. Okay. Even still, I think I would call this in printmaking lingo, we call this a proof. It's like your rough draft. It's like when you write your first couple paragraphs of the essay and it's really not that bad, not that great, but you know you're going to go back and change things to make it better. So that's the most awesome, fun part of printmaking, in my opinion, is that you can do it again and again and again, reproduce things again and again and again, and you can make adjustments to make it better. That's why it's so addictive, that you just want to keep trying again and again and again until you get it perfect just the way you want it. Okay, so this is relief printing. Okay, so I will see you online on Friday. It would be really good if on Friday you already have a sketch or a drawing of something you know you're gonna want to print, something that you want to design onto your plate, okay? So you want to have your styrofoam, those things gathered. You don't have to do anything with them yet. Pencil, paper, just a little doodle. It can be random shapes, designs like this, or it can be something realistic, a tree, a dog. My dog is asleep on the floor with his tongue on the floor. Anyway. Okay, so you can message me on Instagram or Facebook, I guess, if you have questions. Follow Make-It Springfield on all of their media things because they are really awesome, doing really great work. And I will see you on Friday for relief printing week 1. Woo! Okay, don't forget to register on Eventbrite and let me know if you have questions. I'll see you then. Bye.